Hi, welcome to Knits Up. This is a special mini episode update. I thought I would update you on the Bernat Plentiful yarn that I started working with. I think it was Friday I started working with it. So I am this far into a sweater. The colors are a little weird because they're showing up under LED light at night. This is very orange. This color is called blood orange. So it's coming out a little bit yellower than it actually is. This is actually there we go. There's the right colors. Depends exactly where you put the camera. So what I'm doing is a modified sweater. There is a top-down ribbed sweater pattern that is available on the Joann website. I'm not sure whether it's still available on yarnspirations.com or not. They might be putting that back up or whatever. I haven't checked today. But this yarn is actually, it looks, you can kind of see the orange here. It kind of looks really fuzzy and fragile. But this little thread in the middle is actually very strong. I've been using, you start out with size 10 needles, which is a 6.0 millimeter, and then you move on to 10.5, which is a 6.5 millimeter. I decided they call for 1x1 rib in the pattern, and I decided I wanted a 2x2 rib. So then I got to the yoke increases, which are worked top down. And so because it's not 1x1, my patterning is different. So what I'm doing, I'll spread this out a little bit. So my original 2x2 rib here comes down and I'm doing increases. I'm doing the rate of increases called for in the chart for the yoke. It actually shows you how to do that, but what I'm doing is I'm working them either end of this purl section. So what happens with this is you start out with 4 stitches up here. So my 2 knit, my 2 purl, and then you end up, I think it's with 15 stitches altogether at the end, which I am not at the end of this yet. So I will end up with 13 purl stitches and 2 knit stitches to make the repeat that I want to make, so that my stitch count will wind up being at the bottom of the yoke the same as in the pattern, so that I will have the same number of stitches, so I'm making the same size of it. I didn't really do too much of a gauge swatch, but it's coming along pretty well. I mean, this is only a couple nights work. You know, like watching the Yankees baseball game tonight. Tonight was an off night for the Yankees, so I was watching old episodes of Doctor Who, Tom Baker. Okay, now this part is not really so much brown. Well, I guess it is brown, actually. This is more brown than black. Let's see if it shows up different. It does a little bit, but it changes, the value changes because it has my hand to focus on. And when it focuses on my hand, it changes what's called the white balance in the video. So that's why I'm putting my hand there right now, so that color is more accurate. This really does remind me of like a fuzzy navel orange. But I've already come pretty far. I'm already like 8 or 9 inches into this thing. It is very fuzzy. It is very light, very, very light. This is going to be the kind of piece that you put on over a camisole or like a light shirt. It's not going to be something that'll be worn by itself. This is how holy it is. You can kind of see that. I gotta pull back. That's really not helpful. There we go. even though the color's wrong in this, you can see through that. You can kind of see how light it is. These pearl sections will make it more opaque, I guess, even though they're the same kind of stitches. There's less transitioning. I understand completely why they did this way. The range of sizes is extra small up to 4 and 5X. The 4 and 5X is the size that I'm making. I think that goes to fit a 56 to 62 inch bust. So the reason why there's ribbing here and there's basically reverse stockinette makes total sense to me. If you do just a plain stockinette sweater, it will look okay, but you won't have as much room in the top of it for the yoke. So the reason why they did this ribbed is because it can stretch. And the other thing is when you do reverse stockinette like this, it naturally curls outward like this, like a turtle, sort of, like a tortoise shell. It's got a little curve to it, so you actually get more room around in the top than if you had flipped it over and had just plain stockinette all the way down. So this gives you a little wiggle room basically in the yoke of the sweater, which is really what you want. I believe that after the yoke, it goes into plain stockinette going down, but by then you've increased to the maximum number of stitches you're going to use. I don't know that there's too much shaping in it. I don't believe there was. So that'll be interesting to get to, but it's going to go quick because, like I said, I'm on size 10.5 needles, which is a 6.5 millimeter. Now, there's that yarn. That's kind of confusing, but so that's where I am with it. I hope that you'll give it a try. Like I said, I do not tension my yarn. I basically let go of the needles when I knit. I let go of the needle with my right hand and basically throw the yarn around. So this is a very loose thing. So that may be contributing to the ease that I am having with this yarn. I'm not having, it's not falling apart on me, even though it looks like it is. It's gonna be a fuzzy sweater. If you can't live with it's fuzzy and there's pieces of things here and there, you're not going to like this yarn because you can see how fuzzy and, it's spun, but there's fuzz to fill in. So if you're not happy with that kind of stuff, then that would drive you crazy and you'd have to pick up all the edges. This is not the yarn for you. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit different, that it's going to work up fast, I would recommend this yarn, and in particular this pattern. And I think it's going pretty well for me. I like this color. There we go. It changes as it goes through. It's kind of very subtle. So you'll get a striping effect, but it's not going to be like you'll get a chunk of color, but it kind of blends into the next color. The design of the yarn is to do that. And they all kind of harmonize together. They're very fall colors. I think this is going to be pretty with the leaves and stuff like that to be able to put in. So hopefully by the time my maple trees out back change and they're letting down their leaves, or my friends' oak trees are changing colors, maybe then the sweater will be done and I can actually take some shots with, nice fall leaves and kind of compare the colors, because I think this is a beautiful color for fall. I also have the crocus. I think what I'm going to do with that is probably the shawl pattern that's on the label, possibly. Or I may do like a very simple wrap or something like that. maybe a cardigan, but I think the cardigan pattern they have takes two balls of this, and I don't really want to go out and buy another ball. We'll see how that goes. And I may want to move on to another project after this sweater is done. It's really pretty, really, really pretty colors. This does not do it justice. The lighting changes the colors, but it's gorgeous. It's really, really gorgeous. And I advise you, if you're interested in this, go to Walmart. Good grief. Go to Joann's and go look at it. It feels really soft. It's not scratchy. It kind of reminds me of, I'm trying to think what it feels like. You can definitely tell there's acrylic in it. It kind of reminds me of a yarn years ago. I want to say it was like I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what the yarn was, but there was a fuzzy yarn that kind of was like this. And I can't remember even who put it out. Divine. Peyton's Divine, maybe? That sounds like what it was, but I can't remember exactly what it was. So, and that was like over 15 years ago. So, but I really like this yarn. It wouldn't be my first choice if I was a beginner. It would be very confusing because you can't really read your stitches too well. I mean, I can read my stitches, but I'm in knitting for 30 years. It would be more difficult for a beginner to use because that fuzz fills in and it's harder to tell where you've done increases and stuff like that. The sweater is in the round, so it does, have that sort of collar with it. And this will flatten out as you wear it, so it'll actually just stretch and look like a normal sweater. It's not going to have a funnel neck or anything like that. So, in short, I really like the yarn. I really like the pattern. I'm looking forward to working through this because it is working up so quickly. And I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on because I know a bunch of people are like looking at this yarn and kind of wondering what the heck to do with it. And there is going to be pattern support for it. There are about 6 or 8 different patterns, both crochet and knit. But I think this is the best one for me to start with because it does have a good range of sizes. I still have a lot of yarn left. This is a huge ball of yarn. You can see here. This is my hand. That's the ball of yarn. It's huge. So that's way more information than you wanted, but love the yarn, love the pattern. Looking forward to seeing how it goes. I will update you as this goes along. And I think it's going to go very quickly, which is really what I wanted in a fall project in fall colors. So go craft something. If you bought some of this yarn, let me know what color you bought and what you're planning to make with it. And I hope that you have a great week. I will try and update you as I go along with this sweater. Thank you. Have a good week. It's Knitter CNY on Ravelry and Instagram. Thanks. Bye.